Okay, so we talked about simple interest this past week. So today we're going to continue to talk about simple interest a little bit. We're going to introduce the formula for simple interest. The formula is I equals P times R times T. So again, this is a video about simple interest, so you should be filling this out in your foldable. So the formula is again I equals P times R times T. Each one of the letters stands for a different part of the formula. The I stands for simple interest, which is the money paid on top of the principal. So it's how much extra money you pay after you take a loan, or if you are putting money into an account, the money that you're paid on top of the principal. P is the principal amount. The principal amount is the amount of money borrowed or invested, so it's what your starting point is. The R stands for rate of interest. It's going to be the percent in the problem. It's the percent charged or earned. Don't forget, you're always going to change your percent to a decimal. And then if you're looking for the rate of interest, you'll change your decimal back to a percent in the end. Lastly, T is going to stand for time. Now, in class, we've done time in monthly interest, weekly interest, annual interest. In this formula, time usually stands for years the money is borrowed or invested. But if it's a weekly interest rate, it could also be the number of weeks or the number of months if it's a monthly interest rate. Okay, so we have 4 examples. Example 1, to buy a car, Sam borrowed $12,000 for 5 years at an annual simple interest rate of 6%. How much interest will he pay, and what is the total amount that he will be paying? So the first thing you're always going to want to do is start out with the formula, because it's going to help you set up your problem. So the formula is I equals P times R times T. Or again, interest equals principal times rate times time. So in this case, we don't know the I, but we know the principal is $12,000. We know the interest rate is 0.06 as a decimal, and the time is 5 years. So we're going to multiply that by 5. So then we'll put that into our calculator to figure out how much interest is going to be paid total. So I is going to equal $3,600. So that's the first answer to the question. How much interest will he pay? He will pay $3,600 in interest. Second question says, what's the total amount that he will pay? So in order to do this, we need to add our interest onto our principal. So $12,000 plus $3,600, which is going to give us $15,600. So this question had 2 parts. You had to answer both questions. In example 2, the simple interest is $3,500, the rate is 3.5%, and the time is 4 in years. Find the principal. So we're going to be missing this time the principal amount. So we're going to fill into our formula everything we know, and then use our solving equation methods to figure out what the principal actually is. So we know the interest is $3,500. That's going to be equal to, we don't know principal. The rate is 0.035 as a decimal times 4, which is the time. So when we're solving equations like this, you want to simplify the one side of the equation. So we're going to multiply 4 times 0.035, and then rewrite our equation as 3,500 equals 0.14 times P. Then we use inverse operations to divide both sides by 0.14 to get the correct answer of P is going to be equal to $25,000. So the principal amount is $25,000. In example 3, Mark borrowed $5,000 for 2 years to remodel the bathroom. He repaid a total of $6,500. At what interest rate did he borrow the money? Well, in this problem, it's a little tricky. 5,000 is the principal, the 2 is the time, but we don't know the amount of the interest. We know the end result. So to find the amount of interest in order to solve this problem, first we're going to have to do 6,500 minus 5,000, because we need to figure out how much interest was actually paid. So we're going to use the same formula, I equals P times R times T. We just have one extra step to do first. So we're going to do 6,500 minus 5,000, which is going to equal $1,500. That's how much interest here. So then we'll fill in the equation. 1,500 equals 5,000 times R times 2. So we don't know the rate. So then we will simplify the one side of the equation and do 5,000 times 2, which is 10,000. So we're going to get 1,500 equals 10,000 times R. Divide both sides by 10,000 using our inverse operations. And we're going to end up with R equals 0.15, which changes into 15%. So it was a 15% rate that he borrowed the money at. Our last example is Lily invested $3,000 in a bond at a yearly rate of 5%. She earned $450 in interest. How long was the money invested? So in this problem, we're given the principal, we're given the rate, we're also given the interest, so we just need to solve for time. So use the same formula, P times R times T. Substitute 450 for the interest, 3,000 for the principal, 0.05 for R, and then times T. Again, you're going to simplify the one side of the problem, so you're going to do 3,000 times 0.05. So we're going to get 450 equals 150 times T. These are inverse operations. Divide both sides by 150, which is going to give us 3 years, because 3 equals T. So make sure this time that you've filled out your foldable, and that you, if you need to, you can go back and copy out any of the examples if you go back through the video. Okay, and then use this to do your activity.